Hello everybody, welcome to another review. So I'm going to be reviewing the brand new album by the Japanese rock band C.U.R.I.O.S.I.T.Y, Detox. So this is a brand new record and probably my first experience with the band. So I have listened to one or two of the singles for this record and a few songs before that, but there's definitely a band that's kind of reached this phenomenon of popularity. They've had several platinum albums and they've also had a lot of, charted songs as well. They are actually one of the biggest post-hardcore bands in Japan, and I think the ideas they bring to the table are interesting, but I don't know if this is just kind of the case with this record, but I'm not the biggest fan of the overall presentation of it. I think there's definitely some great stuff on here, there's definitely some great energy. I'll get out of the way my favourite stuff on here, so definitely my top tracks would have to be Delusion and All, or Delusional as you want to say it, Party's Over, Puppets Can't Control You, and I even like Curiosity and At Matter, which I think these ones are definitely some of the better tracks on the record, and I'm just not quite a fan of everything else, to be honest. I think the first impression I got from starting the record with Nasty was not something I was a big fan of. I think hearing the moaning sound effect constantly used was something that definitely deteriorated my expectations for the record a little bit, because I don't understand why you'd want to have a moan sound effect the way it's used. I mean, I guess it works with the song structuring, but it just became very obnoxious and pulled me away. But I assume this was a one thing as well, so it didn't really hinder the experience too much, just wasn't a strong start. And then you get some decent tracks there, but Delusional was the first one first of all I remember it because it's the big single off the record, and I think it's just the first stronger song we had. There are some songs that have personal meaning to it, especially since, from what I recall, the lead singer of One OK Rock has lost a lot of friends to suicide. I think Tropical Therapy is the song about that, which I don't really dislike the song at all. I think it's a fine standard song on the record. I have no hate for it. I think that's probably where the first point where the record starts to pick up a bit, but I'm not the biggest fan of the themes of Dystopia, and I think Nasty is just kind of a wonky start. But as you go through the record with tracks like Party's Over and Puppets Can't Control You, the energy is great. I honestly love the hard rock, post-hardcore sound of these, and they just generally just kick ass here. Then you kind of go into the more ballady, softer songs like Tiny Piece and This Can't Be Us, which the latter of the two reminds me of a Robbie Williams written song, and I can definitely see that because you've had all sort of producers and writers work on each track to kind of give it a distinctive feel to it, which is interesting. You get some songs that play with EDM quite a bit, which, for better or for worse, sometimes it can be annoying, sometimes it can enhance the idea and make One OK Rock stand out with all these electronic gimmicks that they incorporate into the sound. Curiosity was probably arguably the strongest song on the record, and that's just because it features Pale Dusk, which Pale Dusk is a hard rock band. I saw them support Polaris on the European, UK Fatalism tour, which was incredible. Unfortunately, I only got to witness two songs because for some reason they started earlier, so by the time I got in, they played two songs and that was it. I was shocked, but the two songs sounded good, and Curiosity honestly just is more the energy I think I like to see. That and Party's Over kind of brings more of the post-hardcore, heavier ideas to it, and I think it's pretty cool for them. And I think that's definitely the big staple of the record. I find one of the biggest problems I have with it, other than just that, is the fact that one of the writers for this is Tyler Carter, the lead singer or former lead singer of Issues, a band that actually split up because all the original members left and he was the last one, and he was met with numerous allegations of sexual assault. And kind of since then he's been going under a different name, but he's actually worked on this record and helped write every song, so I think that's definitely put me off a little bit, because I mean, you're collabing with someone who's, while he has denied it, there's been a lot of stuff going against it, and from what I've seen, I just think it's a generally terrible idea to even get involved with this person, as he's very controversial, and he's been involved with situations like that repeatedly, so not really something that really helps the record, to be honest. I think the vocals and the guitars and drums, bass, all the instrumentation, all the efforts of the band members, I think are great. I just think the execution of the songs just quite isn't for me. I guess One OK Rock goes for this more flashy blend of all sort of ideas, and I like the uniqueness of it, but I just don't think some of the songs really carry the weight of it. Tiny Pieces just kind of feels a bit of a bland track to me. I feel like if you have a slower, softer song like this, to then put even more of a ballady song afterwards, it just kind of loses the impact a bit. It just kind of feels like, well, why did we need that in the first place, sort of song. And I guess you get some decent tracks still around it, but I find that the second half does have a few of the better songs, but the best songs are roughly in the middle. I just feel like you kind of have some of the weaker stuff to start off with. You go through, you get the best tracks back to back. Honestly, the three of my favourite songs, or some of my favourite songs on the record, all back to back. And then you have a big gap of weaker stuff, then a good song, and then I think the pilot just kind of is a whatever track. I think the problem I have with Detox is it's definitely got that overhyped situation. I just find it's not bad material at all, but it's certainly not good. I generally feel like it's kind of got a bit of mediocrity in the overall stack of it. There's definitely some very passionate, very emotional, well-driven songs, but I just find there's some that do it well and some just don't. I don't think these songs are necessarily strong, and as a matter of fact, I kind of have a feeling if I went into some of their older stuff, I definitely like it more, because I feel like this is kind of a refined, toned down element of some of the ideas. But I think at the end of the day, still, I think One OK Rock is doing pretty well, and there's still some good bangers here, so it's not that bad. But there's definitely some negatives that draw it down quite a bit. So my overall opinion is it's alright. I'll give it a 2.5 out of 5. It's not a bad album, but it's certainly one I just don't really get. Well, I can see myself really jam into the whole thing necessarily again. It's fine for what it is, and there's nothing that's terrible, but I definitely think there's more weaker tracks than there should be. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next video.